17 years I've been playing actively, concentrating, directing myself towards a goal, and Floridas in the springtime are nice, and I will miss baseball, definitely. And I remember when I was a kid listening to the Portland Beaver baseball games, and I was about in the 3rd grade. I was living in Corvallis, and I always thought, well, it's got to be great to play for the Beavers. It wasn't really a dream, but I thought that at the time, and then as it turned out, I wound up playing for the Beavers for 3 years.
You never did have a major league goal, or at the end of your career you didn't?
No, I had when I originally signed, I said, and this kind of comes out of Slat Skills philosophy. I think I picked this up pretty strongly, in that you try to play as close to 100% of your ability as you can, and just wherever you wind up is where you wind up. And my goal was never really to be a big league ball player. My goal was to be something like Babe Ruth or something like that. So as I progressed, I found out that I wasn't those things. I think everybody looks at themselves in the beginning as being some, you set high goals and standards, and then I said, okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to be what I originally anticipated being in this game, so I'm going to enjoy it and play it on my own terms, which were play in Portland. If I can't play in Portland, then I can't identify with Spokane, and I can't identify with Salt Lake City, or I can't identify with even Hawaii. If I was offered to play in Hawaii, I wouldn't play in Hawaii.
So you had yourself traded from one team to another 4 times in order to play in Portland.
Yeah, kind of a unique experience. Last year I negotiated the deal for the player that I was traded for. Cap Peterson was supposed to play here, and I was supposed to play in Tacoma, and nobody was doing anything, so I started making some phone calls, negotiated the deal, and then tried to get a little cash on the side, and they thought I was crazy. But as it turned out, I was traded. I traded for myself, the only ball player that I know that has ever really, truly traded for himself.
Seattle will be a farm club of Cincinnati. Bellingham will be a farm club of the LA Dodgers. Lewiston will be a farm club of the world champion Oakland A's. And Walla Walla will be working with San Diego Padres. Tri-Cities will be announcing their working agreement set up, I believe, next week sometime. As far as a field manager, this will be something that Mr. Meyer will want to announce, I'm sure, next week. There are 2 or 3 individuals being considered for that job, and I would think that the chances are very good that your manager will be a playing manager. Bing Russell, as most of you know, is the sheriff on Bonanza, and he's one heck of a baseball fan. And he's a good baseball operator. He's been in the Northwest for the last 2 or 3 years on location and watching his son play ball with Bend and Walla Walla. And he and I had talked many times about him operating a club in the Northwest. And I think most of you know my feelings on Portland leaving the Pacific Coast League. So I've spent some time with Mr. Russell organizing a baseball operation for the city of Portland. It will be an independent operation. The players will be signed by the Portland Baseball Club, and if they are successful, they will be controlled by the Portland Baseball Club. The general manager of the ball club and one of the operating partners in the organization will be Joe Meyer, who has had quite a history of baseball here in the Portland area. He's been involved with the Portland Beavers from 1955 to 1962 in the concession area and in advertising and sales. Joe will start working next week. We have to apologize for him not being here today. He's in the bed with the flu, so I'm pinch hitting for everybody today. But I think it's going to be a very exciting thing for Portland. You're going to have your own ball club. You're going to own your own ball players, and I think it's the first step towards higher classification baseball. And I know that no one believes that Portland is just a Class A baseball city.
We're going to cut before a break this afternoon. We're going to cut then, and then at the end of the day we'll also cut. And the boys that we keep will stay with us the next 2 days and participate in ball games, scrimmage type things, and And from that, we will get people we want to keep for our spring training. Now, if we keep them for spring training, this doesn't mean that they're going to make the ball club. They're going to be with us in spring training. If they make the ball club, fine. But we'll have to pare down by the 13th of June to figure out who will go to Alaska with us. Well, first of all, we'll run them in a 60-yard dash for time. We're checking for agility and that type of thing and that. Then we're going to bring the infielders in and hit them some ground balls and have them throw from the hole to check their velocity and accuracy and that type of thing. Agility again in that drill. And we'll be working with the catchers in that drill and also the first basemen. And the outfielders, we'll have them throw from the outfield. They'll be catching a lot of fly balls today and throwing from the outfield to third base and home plate, checking again velocity, agility, and accuracy.
Will you be cutting each day?
Break it up.
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing, a kid's got to have a lot of desire. He needs some talent, believe me, but he needs a lot of desire. He's got to learn to concentrate, and he has to be able to think when he plays. And that, in other words, when you go to the plate, you got to think about what you're doing. When you're on the mound, you definitely got to think about what you're doing. Or in the field, I'd say concentration and dedication is a great thing. And a ball player, he knows he's got to show somebody something. So my job is to make them concentrate. They should be dedicated when they get here. If they don't, well, they're liable to not be here long. And I'd seen him play 2 or 3 times, and I knew he could run very well. And he'd been out of baseball a couple of years, and so when I got the team, he's the type of ball player that released, that had talent that I was looking for. Actually, he's just on his own on base stealing. He's an artist at base stealing. He already knows how to steal bases. He knows how to get the lead he wants. And I don't think that really that there's any way I can help him with base stealing. He's doing a good job himself. I'm not going to bother anybody who's doing a good job. That's pretty hard, of course, you know, when you start comparing a guy to Maury Wills who stole as many bases as he did. But I do think that he can run faster than Wills.
The former Mavericks third baseman, number 27, Reggie Thomas.
Oh, you got 21?
Come on now!
Next hitter for the Mavericks, designated as 31, Kurt Russell. Heads up! Heads up! Heads up!
Well, I never said a permanent suspension. I don't know how that got around. I just said Reggie is suspended. You know, Reggie's suspended, and ball players have been suspended for 100 years and for a few days and taken off. As far as I was concerned, it was a punishment for him not obeying. And whenever he decided to come back to me and say that he was sorry and he was going to obey, naturally I needed him, and I believe he's sincere, and he's back because I said he could come back, and I'm glad to have him.
When did he officially return?
Well, he came to me last night before the game, and he said, Hank, I want to talk to you, and I said, fine. He said, you know, he said, we had our problem, and he said, I've been thinking about it, and he says, I realized I'd done wrong, and he says, I want to come back to the ball club. He says, I want off that suspended list, and I want to play. I said, well, you're ready to do what I say, you know, right or wrong, you know, I have to make the decision. And he said, yeah. I said, I want to play, and he says, I'm not, you know, I understand what the deal is, and I'll do it right, and if you'll let me play. I said, okay, you're back. I'll tell you, we were getting beat naturally, and that didn't help any. And
Finally, we have this pass ball or wild pitch, I don't know which it was, it got by Robbie, and Robbie goes back to the screen, picks up the ball, and the runner is scoring from third, and Tater, the pitcher, was coming into the plate to cover home plate. You know how it does, a pitcher comes in to cover home plate, and Robbie threw the ball, and the runner beat Tater to the plate, and the ball hit the runner. So the umpire threw Robbie out of the game for hitting the runner with the ball. Well, it was an accident, really, because, you know, you've got to throw the ball to home plate to the guy covering, and the runner happened to beat the pitcher, and he got hit with the ball. He got hit in the knee, and there was nothing to it, really, but he immediately threw him out of the game. So I run up and started to argue with him, and, you know, he and I were in each other's face, and all at once he just got both hands and pushed me right back in the chest. And then, of course, he's not supposed to push the player, and the player's not supposed to push the umpire. So if you get up, you know, face to face, you've seen that a lot of times. And now I go back up there at him at man, and he pushes me again with both hands. And when he did, I just hit him. That's all. I didn't hurt the guy. I hit him as he was pushing me back. And then, of course, Barrier and his players come running in there and jumped on me and got me down. And they was giving me a little working over. Of course, they didn't hurt me that bad. I got a little sore spot or two on my nose and my head a little, but it's okay. But they used that for a good excuse, and then that next night, of course, the president of the league called me at the park and told me I couldn't dress last night and the night before, and then he says, you were suspended until further notice. Well, naturally, I think that I should be reprimanded, but not that much, because I know that my players saw a man hit an umpire this year in another park, walk up and slap him beside the head and knock his hat off. And the umpire said, well, I'm going to get this guy suspended for the year, I can tell you that. And then he ended up getting 2-day suspension. And some of my players said, well, I was a long ways away, and I didn't see exactly what happened up there at home plate, but I did see this man walk up to a guy and hit him in another park, and he got 2 days. I can't understand how you got a year when it looked like the umpire pushed you twice before you hit him. Although it is wrong to hit the umpire, it's definitely wrong for the umpire to push the manager, and he has not been reprimanded yet, and as far as I know, won't be. That's what my players think. They don't think that I should get off for nothing, but they also don't think that the man who hit the umpire in Tri-Cities, which we saw, I saw it, my coach saw it, T-Bone Jones saw it, most all of our players saw him walk up and slap his hat right off. He got a 2-day suspension. We wonder why I be made so severely punished when he was got 2 days. It doesn't seem right to me. And I don't know what they'll do about it, but I understand that I must be punished, but suspending me for a year after the umpire deliberately pushed me twice before I hit him back, I think is wrong, even though naturally when a man's pushing you around, you claim self-defense.
Coach, how do things look now that you've been into practice for a few weeks and you're just about ready before your first game?
Well, I think things are coming along real good. We were very happy to have Donnie Reynolds return. He really adds something to our offense. And the first day back, the first play we gave him the ball was kind of like a replay of that Oregon State game. He went all the way. You know, and that kind of makes coaches kind of happy. But they're working very hard, and it's coming along very good. I think we're going to have a good football team. There's some spots I wish we were a little deeper at, like, for example, the offensive line and the defensive backfield. We're going to have to bring along some young fellows to play at those spots. But overall, I'd say the team's coming along real good.
Well, a lot of people are rating you as the dark horse in the Pac-8. And, they rated you, I guess, around third or fourth place. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's good. That's the way if I were sitting on the outside looking at it, looking at a young team that has a lot of talent, I think that's the way I'd pick us too. Just, you know, you just don't know how far we're going to go up or where we're going to end up because we're so young. But we have some talented guys, and so I think this football team could fool a lot of people. But some people have picked as, you know, third from the bottom, and we've been picked as high as third from the top. So it doesn't matter where you're picked, it's where you finish, and that's what we're looking at.
Well, summer 1973 was the happiest summer of my life in this great stadium. We had 2,317 people out here a night, 85,000 who stood and sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at the top of their lungs every night, not once but twice. Lefty Gomez was here. He said, "I haven't seen anything like it since 1929. It was an exciting, exciting year, and this is just the greatest baseball city in the world, if it's not the greatest city in the world."
Did you accomplish what you set out to do?
Exactly. My hope was that independent baseball could survive. It did. I felt that there were ball players released too early, ball players not signed, who could play at this level, and we proved that they could. I felt that a team like this, taking a chance, could and would be supported, and it was in this town.
Any chance of any league affiliation for next summer?
As far as I'm concerned, no. A large part of the magic of this team was the fact that we were on our own, and those wonderful people up there knew that these ball players belonged to them.
I see. What about next year?
Well, next year is, as I realize, there are powers that be other than me. There's the National Association, there's the city, there's the league, and there's a league meeting the 22nd of September in Seattle, the Northwest League, and I hope to find out something there. I'm new in this. I've never been to a league meeting, so I don't know if they choose to do something in Portland that I don't see any reason for. Why, you'll find out as soon as I do. Okay. I'd like more of the same in '74. I loved it. It was great. Now, as far as those of you who don't make it, which is the bulk, that's the way the pickle squirts. But a lot of you, we got one boy from Tennessee, a couple from New York and whatnot. You've had a hell of a trip. The press should get a hold of some of you. One guy lost his glove and his spikes. Another guy lost his checks in Lincoln, Nebraska, and somehow or other labored in here. But this is Frank Peters, our manager. He's the boss, and he'll run these tryouts. This is the Portland Club, one of our prime.
I'll give you a brief rundown on what we're going to do. First of all, my name is Frank.
The outfielders, you're running the 60 right over there. T-Bone Jones is out there. Hustle over.
Looking for speed, throwing, and fielding ability, and just getting a feel of the ball players. There's some ball players that obviously aren't going to make it, but then there's some ball players that are pretty close, and there are other independent clubs, so they'll be looking at us for anything that looks pretty good. So this is going to be a pretty fair tryout camp, and it's going to give maybe 8 or 10 or 12 or maybe even 15 ball players a chance to play some ball.
I suppose the big question is, with the fans, are you going to do anything differently than Robinson did?
Yeah, I'm going to play. I'm going to play, and I'd say that's a lot different.
What about the problems that he had?
That's baseball. In other words, you put 25 individuals together, and you've got, and they're high-spirited, and if they're not high-spirited, then they're not competitive. So if you don't have problems, then you got a problem.
Let's go. Infielders, you're here. All infielders.
That way you're not standing around getting cold.
Sorry.
Well, it's exciting, of course, to look at the season just around the corner, but so far it looks very good. We haven't lost one yet. We've got 84 to play, and at this point, we've still got a chance to win all of them.
You got a lot of good talent on the team this year, and a lot of new faces. You say you had 6 returning from last year. Any outstanding people you want to bring out, the new faces?
Yes, there are several. We had a boy come into camp today and rattle one off the center field wall, a boy named David Abdallah, a catcher. We started the season with no catchers, and 5 have shown up. We've signed Uremovich and Wantz, both fine-looking boys. And then Gary Daniels, a local boy, is a fine catcher. He's got a hurt finger right now, but this boy Abdallah throws the ball well, seems to backstop well. We got some pop-ups caught today for a change, and he hit the ball well. And then there's another boy, Willoughby, who's out there catching, and he really looks good. Little Al Ariza came in from San Jose yesterday and stole 2 bases right off the bat, and really he's an outfielder and really gets after the ball well, and I have the feeling he's going to make the ball club. And we've still got a couple left to show up. The pitchers are the problem. Frank said, you know, we've got Frank Peters, the manager, is just probably pleases me more than anyone. He's such a fine young man and so able. And he said, you know, we've got 12 or 13 pitchers here who all can pitch, and we've got an awful job weeding these fellas out. One boy who's hurt, a boy named Ward, who's a fine pitcher. He won 9, lost 1 at Puget Sound, and he'll probably pitch later on in the season. He won't even get a chance to try out, but we're trying to give everybody a fair chance, and I'm really excited. It's just a great-looking bunch of young men.
You raise your body, the upper part of your body for the height that you don't.
All the ball players are running on their own now. We intend to break the record that was broken last year. Also, it looks like there's a little more fan interest, and I think the only thing different from what was done last year that I might possibly play, and I won't open the season on the roster because I'm going to give all of the younger ball players a chance to make the club and for us to win without me, and at what point I think I may need to step in, then I'll be available.
There's a couple new teams in the league, and one of them is Eugene, which you play tonight.
Right. Eugene is is also, I believe, an independent club, and are emulating what Bing Russell did here, and that is bring independent baseball back to baseball, which is something that was big in the 40s and 50s, and it looks like it may work. It certainly worked last year.
I think you have a good chance for the pennant this year, Frank.
Oh, unquestionably. If we don't win the pennant, then I'll take the responsibility for it, because we certainly have the ball players. We have Reggie Thomas and Terry Jones back from last year, and Gene Lanthorn that just did terrific jobs, and Deke Daniels also is back. And we've got what you would call veterans in this league, and they're proven ball players, and I don't see any question that we should win the pennant. And I don't know, maybe that's a little strong, but that's my job.